Hello everyone, and welcome to Black Ops 6. Today, we are going outside of the map, something that I didn't think we were going to be able to do this early on. But on day one, I found a little bit of a glitch that allows us to pass those return to mission area barriers. And using it, we should be able to get out of most missions throughout the campaign, as well as perhaps multiplayer maps even. But before we get into the method, let's go ahead and explore outside of the Safehouse. For those who haven't played the Black Ops 6 campaign yet, there will be no spoilers here, but this is the Safehouse that you go to in between missions, and you can upgrade as well throughout the campaign with cash that you find along your way. And using this method, we can quite literally just walk right out the front door. As you can see, the return to mission area thing just simply fades away, and suddenly we have access to this entire area. Now, before we go over that bridge, to our left here, there is a pathway leading up outside of the map, and let's explore that first, because I think it's just a dead end here, but we can see the amount of detail in here is staggering. And of course, you can see most of this from inside the map, and as you get towards the areas that you can't see, we start to see the modeling disappear. The trees are floating a bit off the ground, there's no more shrubbery, and the road simply leads up to, well, absolutely nothing. A massive crater just leading to the void down below us. And we can see in the background all the rocks, the mountains, and some trees as well back there that we can't reach. It actually looks really good for an area that you're never meant to see, which is pretty wild to me. In this area, we'll find that all of these rock faces around us do not have collision. We can walk straight into them and get a really liminal view into the map. This looks absolutely crazy. For this one right here, we're looking back towards the Safehouse, and it doesn't really show us a ton, to be honest. Just some really strange looking geometry, and I suppose a perspective at how this area was constructed. But moving on from that now, let's go ahead and head on over to that bridge, cross it, and see what else is out there, because I think it's gonna be quite impressive. As we cross, we can see some models still chilling around, of stacks of logs, as well as some stumps, but we'll immediately start to see some issues with floating trees and, well, I suppose, a lack of trees and brush all over here. It is very obvious that we're not supposed to be here, and it's insanely cool to be able to do this within the first week. Yeah, please, Treyarch, don't patch this. There's no need to. It's just the campaign. It's fine. This is really cool. To our right is what I imagine is supposed to be the Black Sea, an absolutely massive expanse of water, which we can swim in, and we will do in just a moment. But to our left, we have two pathways. One up there to the left, which we'll get to in just a moment, and this one right here, which sort of just meanders itself to some very plain-looking textures, which we can follow the terrain all the way out here, where it cuts off, and leads down to this really strange corner. And standing up here on the middle, looking down to the left and seeing the same thing that we see on the right, it's a little bit surreal, actually, standing here. It seems really strange. At the end here, the terrain just cuts off, and we can also see where the water cuts off as well. And getting this up-close look at where that texture cuts off and seeing it move up and down is really cool. And if we head off towards this side instead, we have another look deep into the void. There is pretty much no geometry in this direction at all, and once again, we see some of those cliff faces from a very different perspective. Turning away from this now and going up here to our right, we'll find a little bit of an area that we can explore. Just gotta climb on up some of this really awkward terrain, which you can see that it's definitely molded in a way that doesn't make a ton of sense. But it is absolutely insane just how much of it there is out here, and eventually we'll make it to a road. And we can see that road just simply cuts off here and down to the void once again. But if we follow this road back towards the map, we'll see some strange lights here on the ground that look kind of like taillights of a vehicle. In fact, there's not just one set, there are two sets of taillights. Really weird. I'm not entirely sure why these lights exist, although it is important to note that when the vehicles leave the Safehouse at different points through the campaign, they do end up going up this road and they despawn right around where these lights are. That could be why these lights are here, although I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it could be also that there's just an invisible model of a car here and the lights are on. I don't really know. But either way, it is really cool to see that they're out here. Something else that's quite interesting along this road, if we look out to our left here, get to the edge of the terrain, we can see something very strange underneath the map. We're looking towards the safe house once again, but from a very different perspective, and it allows us to see these really strange shapes, all just lined up next to each other. I have absolutely no idea what these are used for. They could be storing things for the safe house, perhaps potential upgrades that you can get throughout the campaign, or maybe just things that go up on that poster board where you select your next mission and continue on with the storyline. But it looks like there are a ton of them out there, which there's definitely not that many missions. So I'm very unsure why they're there, but my best guess is some sort of pre-caching going on. Also, if we look down to our left, there's some gold. Nice. But that is about it for this area, so I think it's time that we go ahead and hop on in the water and take a little bit of a swim. We do have to be careful, though, because funny enough, there is actually fall damage, but I think if we jump out far enough, we'll land right in the water and be able to swim around the map. I've noticed that going back towards the safe house to the right here will kill you. There is some sort of death barrier. I don't exactly know what's going on there, but I believe we can head out into the ocean and see what this sea has to offer. There's like a lot of rocks along our way, as well as all of that geometry to our left, which we'll get to in just a moment, hopefully. I suppose let's check this out first. I'm not sure if we can get on this, if it even has collision. I really don't know. I sort of don't expect it to, so yeah, we just swim right on through it. Still pretty damn cool, though, to be able to do so. And what's crazy, too, is we can dive underneath the water as well. So this has some sort of thickness to it, although I don't exactly know how thick it is, so a little bit worried about that, but oh my god, there's a cage in the air. What? I don't know why this is here, but there is definitely some sort of fencing just floating off of the water here. That's really strange. It only has two sides to it. Not sure if this is used for anything throughout the campaign. Perhaps I'll have to sift through it and maybe we'll end up finding out. Let me know if you guys want a Dev Tricks and Secrets episode on Black Ops 6 this early on, because I'd love to do it. So long as, you know, they don't patch the glitch, because that would be horrible. Please don't do it, Treyarch, once again. Just, you know, keep it going. It's fine. I like swimming. Swimming doesn't hurt anyone. And the further we get out here, it is absolutely crazy to see just how big this area is. There is so much water, and we're getting towards the point where there's going to be no geometry, just what is on our left and what's on our right. That's about it. Considering I don't think any of it has collision, I'm not sure how much of it is actually worth swimming to, but we're going to do it anyway, and I suppose I'll let you know what I find. Well, here we are inside of some of the geometry, and as you can see, there really isn't much going on here. None of it has collision, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's anything hidden in this rock. There's some huge cave here in the side of this rock as well, which looks really creepy from this perspective. I doubt we're actually going to be able to walk into it, though. I mean, I guess we can swim into it instead. I suppose there's always that. Oh my god. That is some low poly rock right there. Whoa. So looking back towards the sun, I think it's like peering through this material, and it looks really crazy. That effect right there of this, it's almost like rainbow-like, actually, emitting out from the texture. That looks really cool. Dude, looking back at the map, too, the safe house is somewhere over there in the fog. It's absolutely insane to think that just for a tiny little space that's literally just one building, this whole area was created. I don't know how far this water's going, though, man, but it feels like forever, that's for sure. I guess let's keep swimming. Looking back at the map, we can see the terrain, and it's really far in the distance now. Get some really cool perspectives over there as well. Look at what's going on that mountaintop. But the water just keeps going. I don't think it's ever going to stop. Oh! Never mind. I found it. Here's the edge. Oh my god, I'm floating away from the water? I'm really afraid to move right now. I'm somehow swimming on nothing. What happens if I go further? Can I go further? Oh. Oh, that happens. Goodbye, world. All that terrain. That's insanely cool. So, while we're falling here, I'm going to take a sip of the coffee. Because, of course, I have my coffee with me here this morning, and I hope wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this, you're enjoying yourself. Because being able to go outside Black Ops 6 in the first week is not something I thought I was going to be able to do. And I suppose while we're just hanging out here in the water, there is something else interesting to note that we just saw while falling. We could see as we fell there, a very small area of water compared to the entire space that we just swam through is called in, while everything else is not there at all. I imagine this is so the game can still simulate those waves and water caustics that it does without crashing the game or overloading on VRAM. Just a little bit of a dev trick that I think is pretty cool. I will say I am certainly getting my enjoyment out of this game so far, and I hope you guys are enjoying the video. And if you are, consider leaving a like down below. It helps me out a ton, and of course, make sure you're subscribed so you can come back for more. Without further ado, let's go ahead and last checkpoint this and try again. If we head out the other side of the safe house instead, we can do the exact same glitch. And after a whole lot of attempts, we're finally outside the map again. And immediately here we can see some geometry floating off the ground and a big old log here doing the same. And as we make our way down this path, we can see this area from the backside. Most of it you can see from inside the map, of course, that just right over there is where you're able to go to. There is still some shrubbery though, and of course many trees around us, so it's nothing like the other area, but still really cool to see nonetheless. And down towards the water, well, we can't exactly get there. There is just an invisible barrier here that's blocking us from moving forward. I imagine it's here just continuing on from playable space, and most likely the devs didn't exactly know how far they were going to allow you to go. And at the back, of course, a rock face that we can just walk straight through. Yet again, getting a look into some very liminal space, some floating trees that I don't even think we can see from inside the map, and some more geometry far out into the distance. Some of this rock face does have collision, although it's a little bit glitchy as to how you can actually get on top of it. Also, we gotta be a little bit careful about falling into this pit of despair here, because if we get into that, there's definitely no way we'll be able to get out. But essentially what I'm trying to do here is find some sort of way to get on top of this ledge. Because unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's any real way for us to climb this terrain. Without being able to jump, there just isn't a possibility of getting up there. At least I don't think so. I mean, we could try sliding, but I don't really think that's getting us anywhere. So this rock barrier here might be our only chance. Let me try this a few times and we'll see what we discover. Ah, yeah, there's some really weird barrier here that just keeps making us slide down. It's causing this to be a bit of an issue. Although I've also noticed if we go around this side here, be real careful, we can just walk right up on this. But I'm not sure how this is going to get us up there. I don't really know. And there's just another barrier here against this rock, so I can't go into that. And there we go, sliding off of it again. Almost just died, actually. Okay, so I'm on the rock now, and also inside of some of the other rock. And it looks like the one that has collision is a separate piece of terrain, I suppose, from the one that doesn't, which is really cool to see. But with that being said, I don't think there's any way for me to climb up on top of this. It seems like all of it is sort of just cut off. It's either really, really slidey at points, or there's just areas like this where there's no way I can get up there without being able to jump. Which, if jumping was enabled, I'm sure this would be possible, but unfortunately, with just being able to walk places and sprint and I suppose slide as well, I don't think that's enough. Now, inside the rock, there is this really strange ridge here created in the terrain, which we might be able to pass, but I'm a little bit worried about just falling right off of the map. It feels like there is collision here as well. Like, in this direction, I can't go forward. I'm pushing forward, and it's going nowhere. Although, something we can do is fall outside of the map. And just behind this terrain, we'll see there is most certainly a hidden room. Now, this hidden room most likely has some storyline implications, and we're not going to go over those here. I myself actually haven't finished the campaign quite yet. Which, about that, let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see me live stream the rest of it. But there is most certainly some sort of hidden room or playable space that is just hidden right there outside of the map. And I would imagine we get access to this at some point during the campaign, probably a bit later on. But here on the very first mission that we get access to the safe house, the arrival, I suppose is what they call it, it is 100% still there, just sitting out of the map, waiting to be used. And goodbye once again to the world above us, down into the void we go. But that is just about all of the out-of-bounds space that we can explore here at the Safehouse. And I'm sure there is a ton more throughout the campaign that we might be able to get access to using the same method. Which, by the way, make sure you subscribe so you can see that. Come on, it's just right down there, little subscribe button. It's not too hard to click. Just, just go in and click it. Just click it. Just a little bit. Just give it a touch. Yeah, there you go. But before we depart, of course, let me explain the method, which is insanely easy. So with these little return to mission area barriers, there is an exact point in which the trigger will always kick you back to the last checkpoint. And essentially all you have to do in an area where you want to break out of the map is find that exact point. So for instance right here, it's just before this tree shadow. I can get my feet right up to the point, and I can look back towards the map. And one thing you'll notice when you start running back towards the map, that return to mission area thing stays on your screen much longer than you think it would. As you can see, it normally pops up right about here, which I guess aligns me with these two trees, I suppose. While turning back towards the map, it stays on my screen all the way to the gate. I'm pretty sure what's going on here is the trigger has some sort of leniency when you're looking towards the playable space and away from the trigger. So essentially, if I walk right on up to this barrier here, look back towards the map, and then start super sprinting out of it, we'll be able to break right past the trigger. I will say it's a bit finicky at times, and sometimes it works much easier than other times, and I don't exactly know what causes this, or if there's ways to make it better. I should say that triggers aren't just some flat wall that we need to break through, they're actually a volume, and they could vary in size depending on who placed them, or perhaps where they are in the mission. So it won't always be as easy as it was here in the Safehouse, and there may be some that are just impossible to break past. But please guys, if you have some time and you're interested in going outside of the map, try this out and let me know what you guys find. You can join the Discord in the description and perhaps we can start a discussion about this. And also, please, Treyarch, don't patch this. Like, I get it if, like, it affects multiplayer and it, like, screws with people's game experience. I understand then, but just keep it for single player. Like, just for us nerds that want to go outside the map. Surely we're not hurting anyone here, right? I also really love to see the amount of work that goes into these spaces, especially in areas that we never get to see, and it gives us a look into the development of your games, and it's really cool to someone like me at least, and I think most of my audience as well. I just absolutely love this stuff. For those who are just getting into game development, it gives them a look into some very professional developers and the work that they have done. But not to mention everyone else who just wants to get a peek into how these areas are constructed. So also, you should give me some no-clip as well. I won't give it anyone, I promise. Just give me some no-clip, give me some God mode. I'll no-clip around Liberty Falls. It'll be great. Everyone will love it. Yeah, I got a feeling that's not gonna happen, guys. I'm gonna be honest, but hey, a wish is a wish, right? I suppose that black sea out there is my wishing well. But that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, consider leaving a like down below. It helps me out a ton, and of course, make sure to subscribe so you can come back for more, because if we can go outside of other campaign missions, you bet I will be doing it. And even if this is the last time that we're able to do this, and it gets patched just after this video gets uploaded, I still enjoyed the entire journey. Even though it might be cut short, I really hope it's not, but either way, it was a ton of fun to see what these developers made here. I gotta say, it's beautiful too, man. This game looks great. If you enjoyed this and you want to watch more of my content, you can click one of the videos on your screen right now, but if not, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay awesome, and peace out.